Hello everyone, my name is Isaac and today we're going to be cutting some bounce chalices. So I have some iodine here so after the dip they can get a little bit like a disinfectant per se. And then we have two pieces here. We have this little bigger chunk that's overgrown, it's frag plugged by a lot. And then we got this little guy. Not too much it overgrew, but it does have this nice little splatter color right here that I want to save. So we're going to end up fragging that one too. The first step's going to be cutting this little, I guess, like part of the frag stand. This little part right here. Just so we can have a clean cut when we run it through the saw. And then let's get this on the road. Alright, we got one. Let's get the next one. And now we're going to end up trying to cut it into, like, how do I say, rectangles. So for this one, we're just going to try save about like a fingernail's worth for a new frag. That's one. If you guys ever have one of these and just want to frag it, you can just, they're really not that bad as long as you have a saw. I haven't tried it with bone cutters yet, but yeah, they're pretty easy. It's more of the gluing, which I'll tell you after. Okay, now we have our little rectangles. Now we're just gonna try to do the same thing, get about a nail's worth into like, we're basically trying to get like squares into these guys because they do grow pretty quick, but you also don't want to make the frag too big because then, well, it's gonna overgrow pretty soon. Also, another thing, you don't want to cut them too small. I say that because sometimes these chalices get a little upset when you try to cut it too small and they start complaining. And if you don't have enough to make another couple squares, you can always just cut the piece in half. That always seems to work. Usually has a high survival rate if you're cutting smaller frags too. An example would be like how this one is, where there's not enough, I guess, coral to frag right here. So we're just going to end up leaving it like that. I would say these guys are pretty similar to the cupping chalice in terms of skeleton wise. Let's see, I think that's all of those. So after, you're just gonna want to get a turkey baster. For me, I have two bins. So one houses the, I guess, dirty water per se, where the corals go after fragging. And this is the sterile water where I'll be doing the iodine. So before transferring, you want to make sure you blow the frags off with the turkey baster, just to get that slime off of them because they get a little upset when fragging. Once they're all clean, you just put them into the next container. And then while this takes a little second, the saw we're using, I believe, is the XL Gryphon saw. It's a diamond blade saw, which helps a lot when fragging corals, especially if you have one that's like stuck on a rock. I would recommend chiseling if it's on a rock, just because if you use a thick rock on this diamond blade, it might wear it out sooner. And if you want to prolong the usage of the diamond blade, well, you don't want to be cutting rocks all the time. So I would chisel it down as much as you can and then run it through the saw. But it looks like we're wrapping up with these last two pieces here in the container. All right, and then we can go ahead and discard this old water. It's not really useful anymore since it's all dirty. So right here, I'm not sure if you've seen, well, I will show you before showing this clip, but our main bounce chalice colony that we've been growing out for about, this is 2026, so 2 years now. This is pretty much how it originally came in. So you can see there's not really any bounces. If I can try to get into the camera, yeah, that's about it. But there's really nothing in here. And I was surprised how ours took off so easily in just high UV, but I also think it's like something to do, what is that phrase? Where every time I frag that one, the bounces kept getting bigger. With the other ones, I haven't really seen much difference, but hopefully this one will start bouncing a bit more. And yeah. All right, here she is, the main one. Now we're gonna find some new growth. I like to cut where the new growth is. Try not to mess with the original colony. One thing I wanted to bring up, since the new growth is gonna conflict with the big bubbles over here, it's okay to cut through the bubble. It will heal over. In my experience, it hasn't really affected its survivability too much. I just got worried for a couple days. I think that was the only concern that really happened, but let's cut her up. So here's an example I was saying where if you cut, can I see that? Focus there. So this little brown part on the screen compared to where the green is, that was where the one of the big bubbles were. We just cut right through it. It should heal over. Granted, because I kept popping the bubbles on the mother and then it just healed over. So technically it should consider it as a pop. And then let me just finish with these guys. Okay, well these guys sit in a new dip since the other one got a little full. Put these guys to the side. I'm gonna explain a little bit about the next step after cutting these guys. So under the coral, if there's no flesh like right underneath it, you can glue it. If it's like, well, these guys are actually pretty good. If it's like this one over here where it's fleshy right there throughout the whole coral, if you glue it, the coral might end up dying since it is gonna, the glue technically burns the skin. And I've had that happen. I've lost a couple batches like that. So what I ended up doing is like a really small amount of glue, just like right in the center. And then it's gonna detach later on, but when it does detach, it will have a dry spot or like quote unquote dead. But that's a good thing. Then we're gonna put a little glue again on that coral, put it to the frag plug, and it should stay stuck. So far I've cut about 80 of these guys doing that exact thing, and it has worked flawlessly. All the times I tried gluing, like putting as much glue as possible, try to get it a stick, it did end up losing the frag. The other thing I wanted to bring up was I did try putty, you know, the little putty. It didn't last really a day or anything. All right, welcome back. So we got our frag plugs. I counted there's 14 frags of the main bounce chalice. So we have 14 big plugs since those were big chunks. Let's move this up here. We're going to be using some glue from BRS, right? BRS, bulk refill. Yeah, there we go. And then, like I said, you want to have a little bit, since these are going to detach, you want to keep that in mind. I'm going to pour a tiny little dot. Right there. And that's pretty much going to follow suit with everyone else. Luckily, these ones are already on. Where's the camera? Wrong one. There we go. Luckily, these are already on like leftover plug, so we could just put as much glue as we want to get them on there. Compared to the other one where we have to do a whole little couple day process, but let's get these guys rolling. So a question you guys might have is, why am I not putting glue on all the plugs instead of doing it individually? I'm doing it like this just because Some chalices are a little bigger than others or a little smaller, and if I put too much glue, remember the chalices will not, or the likelihood of it surviving goes down. So I'm just trying to make sure each one has its own, what is that word? Customization, I guess? I think that's the word I'm looking for. Again, my name is Isaac, and thank you for watching another Cali Coral Connect video. Hope you have a great day, and happy reefing!